Let's talk about this now with Virginia Democratic Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger, who is a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
What is your response, Congresswoman, to what is clearly a pattern here, and most recently Marjorie Taylor Greene verbally accosting and running after your colleague, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, in the halls of Congress?
Well, Brianna, I think we have to look at it within the context of the interview you just had. You had Officer Dunn recounting his experiences on January 6th, talking about what it continues to be like to work in a crime scene. And he said, we're going to continue to do our job. It's our responsibility. We'll continue to do our job. And that level of decency and commitment and leadership is what we should expect of every person who works in the United States Capitol, members of Congress, Capitol Police, and staff across the board. And for a representative of Virginia, where we're dealing with the crisis caused by the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack, where my constituents are worried, deeply, deeply worried about how to get to work and how to get their kids to school. And in the middle of an ongoing pandemic, though there's bright light at the end of the tunnel, the fact that there would be a legislator focused on taunting and harassing another member of Congress when we should be governing and demonstrating the leadership like Officer Dunn demonstrated in his interview and certainly demonstrated on the day of the insurrection. I have nothing but disappointment for the negative example that we continue to see from particular members of Congress.
Do you think an ethics investigation and ethics action would do anything? I mean, she just seems basically emboldened by having her committee assignment stripped.
I think that the American people should expect that every lawmaker who is sent here to govern is focused on governing. The sad reality is that there are a few who are not. And I hope that her voters will hold her accountable for what she does or doesn't deliver on their behalf. And I think that, unfortunately, what we're seeing is just an ongoing trend of people who want to be celebrities more than they want to govern. And so it's certainly adding anxiety and a lack of purpose that some people bring to the Congress. But I'm focused on my constituents and speaking for the rest of my caucus and frankly the majority of Congress. Most of us have that significant focus, and it's just unfortunate that someone continues to want to be such a distraction, particularly when we can see what those sorts of aggressive tactics lead to. And it was an insurrection on January 6th.
You mentioned the pipeline attack. Your constituents have been affected by this. Virginians, folks all up and down the East Coast have been affected by this. So what is your reaction to the revelation that the pipeline company, Colonial, actually did pay some sort of ransom to DarkSide, which hacked their system?
My reaction is that is frankly not that uncommon. With these ransomware attacks so frequently, the companies or the entities that are attacked do pay the ransom in order to be able to restart their operations. Ransomware attacks happen far too frequently. They were a significant threat. And the reality with the Colonial Pipeline attack is that the implications actually shut down major U.S. infrastructure and halted distribution of gas to the eastern seaboard. So I'm not surprised, but it speaks to the fact that we need far more engagement. We need to fully empower the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, and the Department of Justice to be able to get at the heart of the motivation of these criminal networks. DarkSide has claimed responsibility, and they said they were motivated by money. So we need to make it much harder for these criminal organizations to be able to move their ill-gotten gains. That's striking their money is part of countering their efforts, their motivation, and ultimately stopping these sorts of actions and attacks.
Yeah, there's clearly so much work ahead for Congress and for this administration on this issue. Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.